But just because we're expecting a few more people, and we've moved from a larger theatre to a slightly smaller one, if there's a very large gap between you and your neighbour, can we just reduce it a little bit, just so that when people come in a little bit late, they can just jump on the end nice and easy. If you're able to do that, amazing. If you can't, that's fine. Good afternoon, everyone. We might make a start. Obviously, if you're still filtering in, please do find a seat. Welcome to Adelaide University Open Day. Given the time of the afternoon, maybe this is your first session, maybe you've been to a few. Either way, welcome. My name's Tom. I work here at the university and I work in the future students area. So when we get to the questions later down the line and there's any admissions or process things, I'm very happy to answer, but you're not here to hear from me. You're here to hear from our amazing academics on the field of nursing. So there'll be a little bit from me up top and then we'll dive straight in. But before we do any of that, I just want to make sure you found the right place. You are here to listen to nursing, correct? Cool, great. No one's running out the door. But before we dive into the actual content, I just want to acknowledge that we do meet on the lands of the Kaurna people, the traditional custodians of the Adelaide Plains. This land is where a lot of the Adelaide University campuses are built upon, but we also do have campuses built on the lands of the Bangala and the Bowendik people as well. As such, I just want to pay respect to Kaurna, Bowendik and Bangala elders past, present and emerging. So, as you have hopefully picked up on, Adelaide University is a new university. It's created through the amalgamation of University of South Australia and the University of Adelaide. And it's a pretty big deal. It's the biggest coming together of any two education institutes in the world at this point. And it is the biggest change to the tertiary sector in Australia for about 50 years. So it's pretty significant. So with that scale comes a lot of ambition, and you can kind of see them up on the board at this point. And some of them are lofty, but the university doesn't actually open until the 1st of January, and we've already ticked off some, which is kind of exciting. Only a couple of weeks ago was it released that we are comfortably sitting in the top 1% of universities worldwide, and that's based on our combined research and rankings in the most recent, I want to say like ARWU ranking, not important what scale. But with that scale of the size of the university, we'll be the largest educator of domestic students in the country. So that's really exciting. But I think something that's more exciting is the commitment to the individual. So despite being such a large educator, there is a really clear focus and ambition to have a really quality student experience and making sure that despite its size, you still feel like an individual studying here. So that's why we've got so many fantastic people working and striving to make sure that we are comfortably within that top 5 for a student experience. And that is something that we are really hoping to achieve throughout that transition to the new university. So a large part of that student experience and just the experience in general is what we're referring to as the Adelaide attainment model. It's kind of like the ethos that's being rolled out throughout pretty much any of the curriculum. Because as I mentioned, this is the biggest change in the sector for about 50 years. And because it doesn't happen very often, you can't really say comfortably that any other uni has had this opportunity to really look back at what they've done well and take the best of 2 really strong performing institutions and then take the best bits and then build upon them. So this Adelaide attainment model is the model of which all of our curriculum's been remodelled and redesigned, and it's been done in a way that is intentionally making it more accessible and more achievable. So what that looks like in very quick overview is a curriculum that is modular and stackable, meaning that it really reflects the learner in the sense of not everyone has a linear learning experience. So you might come straight from high school and go straight into uni and then go straight into the workforce. Statistically speaking, that's not the common experience. So it allows you to come, maybe you've come from work, maybe you've come straight from high school, but maybe your university experience gets interrupted. Maybe you've got something going on in your personal life and you need to step away. Rather than getting nothing to show for those 3 years, you might actually be able to get like a smaller qualification, maybe an exit award, to take with you, go off, deal with what you need to deal with in life, and then come back. So that is a really important milestone or marker of the Adelaide University experience, is that it meets you where you are. Some other elements of it is what's referred to as a common core. Each degree tackles this a little bit differently. So where there are strict accreditation requirements, such as nursing, they may not be as, I guess, it's not literally a topic that you take, it's actually embedded throughout the entire curriculum. But where if you were looking at taking degrees in a more flexible program, maybe it's business or it's arts or whatever, these topics are things that you take each year that build upon, I guess, some common core skills that are needed out in industry. So it means that you're actually taking topics with people all across the university to build up that network and to build up some of those skills. The last point from me before I hand off is just about the Adelaide Academy. So I mentioned that we're going to be the largest educator of domestic students in the country. With that scale comes a lot of relationships. So with that, we want to make sure that the students benefit from that. So the Adelaide Academy is really designed to enable students to leverage our relationships with industry, with the community and whatnot, to really push themselves. So if you are a high achieving student or a high performing student or a high potential student, it means that you can actually take on these extracurricular opportunities to have industry engagements and internships, maybe specific research projects or networking sessions or whatever that might look like. It is relatively new, so there is more information coming out over the year, and it will be kicking off with a smaller pilot in 2026, but if it is something that you're interested in, definitely worth keeping an eye out on the website. As I mentioned, you're here to hear about nursing, you're not here to hear from me. So I will hand over to our academic speakers who are going to talk to you all about the field of study of nursing.
Welcome. My name's Dr. Colin Ireland and this is Dr. Lynn Gum. And for those that are over in the overflow area, there's Dr. Paul McLeish over there as well, who will be able to answer questions if you need be at some stage. Before I start, I just want to say welcome. Luckily, we got better weather than yesterday. Can I just put your hand up? How many people are from Adelaide, who live in Adelaide? Yeah. How many people have travelled more than 100 kilometres to get here today? How many people have come from interstate? Right. Anyone from Mount Gambier or Whyalla? No, Mount Gambier, yeah, Whyalla. I ask that because it's good to know where people are so you can actually understand the program and how it works as well. And I've got to work out which button. So the Bachelor of Nursing program actually offers study in Adelaide. We also have a campus in Mount Gambier and one in Whyalla where we do study as well. We've also got an online program. So you can do an online version, but you still come into the city to do clinical skills and workshops. So they're designed, whatever happens in one area is exactly the same that happens in the other areas. It doesn't matter where you're studying with Adelaide University, you'll all get the same experience. We have 2 entry points to the program. First one's in February, the traditional one, and as of next year we also have a July intake. So some students might not be quite ready to start in February and would like to delay it a little bit. They can start in July, and you'll do exactly the same courses in exactly the same order as if you were starting in February. It is a 3-year degree, or you can do it part-time and do the equivalents part-time. We don't have any prerequisites, although obviously being nursing, there's a lot of medication calculations that we do. So an idea of maths is good. You will need to be able to do maths as you go through. And biology does help, but it's not necessary. We don't assume that you know anything. We start off from the beginning and work the way through. And for those wanting to know, one of the biggest questions we get is what do I need to do to get in? We have a guaranteed entry of an ATAR of 80, and from the grades base it's 2 A's and a B. So that's guaranteed. Obviously if you apply and you don't get 80, you get a bit less. There's still potential to get in as well. All right, so it doesn't mean 80 is, if you don't get 80 you can't get in, if that makes sense. What the course does is it prepares you for registration as a registered nurse with the Australian Nursing Midwifery Board of Australia as a general nurse, generalist. All right. If once you've registered, you then go and specialise beyond that. We do 880 hours of clinical placement throughout the program, and we start off in our first year. At the end of the year, you do a 4-week placement. And then in the middle of the year, in second year, you do a 4-week placement. And in your last year, you do 2 7-week placements. They are full-time placements. Can be rostered over a 24-hour shift. So saying that, it could be working earlies, lates or nights over the 7-day week. Because that's what nurses do. And so it's getting that whole experience of what happens as a nurse. It's about building your skills. So we start off in the first year giving you the understanding of the legal ramification, legal sort of ability, what you need to understand about legal, the standards of practice, what skills, so starting off, how to take a blood pressure, how to take a temperature, things like that. And we develop it and we build through over the 3 years. So we build on what you learn from the first year, goes into second year, and we take you through the lifespan from first off, we start off looking at the chronic diseases, an older person, and then we look at adults and the acute diseases, and then we look at children. So we cover the whole lifespan. And so it's about, at the end of it, giving you the skills to go and work anywhere as a registered nurse. One of the things that has happened is that we do realise that placements, 880 hours doesn't sound like a lot, but it is for someone who's got to support themselves, or people who've got to support themselves. So you will have known that in the federal budget, in the election last year, or the budget, the government announced the Commonwealth Practical Payment that is to help support certain students, and fortunately nursing falls into that category. So for eligible domestic students who are undertaking mandatory full-time placements, you can actually apply for the Commonwealth Prac payment, and it's targeted to help with your financial things. I think it's about $330 a week for the placements, and while it's put through the government, it's actually managed by the university. So there's a website, when you become a student, you'll get the information about it. You can go on, you log on, and that's where you apply for it. So the government website has all the information about it, and then they say apply through your provider, through your education provider. It's there just to give you a bit of help, give students help with not working while you're on placement, because it is a full-time placement, but also to so that you're not thinking about how am I going to afford to do this or afford to do that. So nursing, a nurse's work is at the heart of the healthcare system. We are the biggest employee within the healthcare system, and we're the ones that spend the majority of the time with patients. Okay, and so we provide compassionate care and advocate for our patients, supporting our patients through their time, their experience that they're going through. We do deliver contemporary evidence-based nursing care, and that's one of the things that we go through within the program as well. How do we actually know what evidence base is accurate and what's not? We look at that as well. We collaborate with teachers and researchers and other health professionals to ensure that the healthcare system is delivering what it should be delivering. Now, we could debate that all we want, but that's the aim of what we do. All right. Are we doing the best we can for people? And we do use a base to upskill into specialised areas. As I said, the Bachelor of Nursing program is really a program designed to give you the overall fundamental skills of a registered nurse, and beyond that you can actually go and specialise in different areas. We also have a Masters of Nursing graduate entry, which is a master's degree course for people who have already got a degree and are looking at coming into nursing, so they go at the next level. So that's another degree that we've got available as well. It's an abridged version of the Bachelor of Nursing. You actually get credit for it as well, some credit for some of the stuff. Nurses work in all sorts of different environments, from public to private hospitals, and they both have completely different sort of focuses. The public hospitals are often quite fast-paced. Private hospitals work a lot as well. They have a lot of input and a lot of throughput of patients. But we also work in community areas, aged care and rehabilitation services, in schools, in home care, drug and alcohol treatment centres, community health organisations, mental health services. We can actually have people who work with international aid agencies as well as nurses, correctional facilities, policy and management, and tertiary educations, either as teachers or as researchers, or both. So nursing can take you almost anywhere you want to go. Within South Australia you can stay, or you can go interstate, or you can go overseas. So it gives you the foundations to be able to practice anywhere really as you go through. So that's just a very brief snapshot of nursing. So I'll just open up if there are any questions.
And because we've got a couple of people potentially in another room as well, I might just repeat the questions back, both for the benefit of the people in this room, but also just so that they can understand what we're answering. So please, if you have any questions, just chuck your hand up and we'll start working our way around the room.
Could you maybe explain some of the differences between nursing and medicine?
Yeah, so what are the differences in terms of like a nursing program versus like a medicine program, if you can touch on those?
study. No, so it's a different profession. It is a different profession. Okay, nurses are really there to support and provide care for people, for patients. Right, the medical profession is that next level up. It's like it's those decision making. So as a nurse, you can become a nurse practitioner. With further studies, and it puts you up. It gives you more scope. Your scope increases up the range you go. So a medical practitioner has a lot more of a scope of practice than what a nurse does. Their decision making and what they do is governed by the medical board, but they are able to prescribe and do all sorts of other things as well. So it's not a simple question of what's the difference between the two. They do have some similarities, but there's also some different things. Like a medical practitioner would probably, if they're working in a hospital, they'd pop in, see the person, and they'd go. Whereas as the nurse, you're there for the whole shift. All right, so you're compassionate. It's about providing what you do as a nurse. It's about providing the voice for the patient while the medical practitioner's there as well.
We've got one right at the back, then we'll come back to you in a minute. Yep. Yes.
You mentioned specialising. I'm just wondering if you could explain where that specialisation is.
Yeah, so how do specialisations work in the field of nursing?
So once you finish your bachelor and you register, you're what you call a generalist nurse. So you can work in any field, anywhere. But what specialisation is about doing further studies to get more in-depth knowledge about that particular area. Okay, so as an example, I'm an emergency nurse. So I went on and did further studies in emergency nursing to do more specialisation in that area. Right, mental health nursing is another one, is an example. Critical care nursing is another one. Industrial nursing is another field that you can go into. I'm trying to think of one. Nephrology, which is looking after kidney, looking at the renal system. Maternal and child health. So there's different areas, and then you can do studies to get further knowledge and understanding about those areas.
I guess it's an important point, because it's probably a similar follow-up question, is that the Bachelor of Nursing, you start with that and then you go out and start practicing as a nurse before you actually start specialising. So
yeah.
Yeah, so do we offer programs in those specific specialisations?
We offer a lot of different specialisations. We obviously don't offer every single one, but we offer quite a few of them.
Yeah, and the reason that I mentioned about you go out and start working first is typically for those specialisations, they actually require you to have a role within like one of those relevant specialty areas before you can actually do the formal coursework. Is that still correct? Yeah.
Yeah, with a lot of them.
I was just going to say, for example, though, if you wanted to do just research, you might not have to practice first. You might be able to just go straight into another degree and do research in nursing. But often you need a little bit of clinical experience in that area first.
And there was another, yeah.
So you mentioned that there's an intake next year, start of next year, and there's a mid-year intake as well. So for that mid-year intake, do we still need to apply in August application?
Yeah, so the question was around whether you want to start in February or you want to start in July. When do applications open? So in August, on the 4th of August, applications for 2026 will open. So you can indicate whether you would like to apply for a mid-year intake or a January intake. Typically when you actually put in your preferences, it will ask you when you want, semester 1 or semester 2. So you can apply for both once applications open on the 4th of August. Cool. Over here.
Is it possible to do a double degree while you're in nursing?
Really common question. Can you do nursing and another program as a double degree?
It's very difficult. We don't recommend it.
Yeah. So generally speaking, you can do what's called concurrent studies, which is just doing 2 degrees at the same time. What a double degree is saying that there's some flexibility in this program, there's some flexibility in that program, let's mash them together and shave off some time. Nursing is very prescriptive.
Yeah, and so with nursing, there is a set course structure that you've got to follow. So it doesn't necessarily combine with any other degree as well. And the time commitment to do as a full-time study it would be very hard to do another degree on top of that at the same time.
Not to upsell you, but what you could do is come back for postgraduate study, genuinely. Like if you are interested in another field, the last session in here was midwifery, you could do, you know, a master's of midwifery, or you could do further study rather than doing 2 different bachelor's degrees. So that's an option as well, particularly because of how hands-on nursing is.
And that's what I was going to allude to next.
Sorry.
It was about that, you know, there are people who want to do nursing and midwifery, and they always ask about, can we do them together? And the answer is no, you can't because of the requirements. But you could do the Bachelor of Nursing and then do the Master of Nursing graduate entry, or you could do the Bachelor of Midwifery and then look at the Master of Nursing graduate entry afterwards.
Let's go right to the back. Yep.
How many contact hours?
Yeah. What are the contact hours for a nursing student, for a full-time nursing student? Because the reason I delineate that is because part-time would be roughly half of what the full-time is.
So it's a hard question to answer because everyone studies slightly differently, and it depends on whether you're studying on campus or whether you're doing online. But what I will say is that there is preparation work to do before you come on campus or before you do your online work, tutorial as well. Usually, I think I'm trying to remember what the exact hours are, and I can't remember what they are. And I think the best thing to do would be to look at the university website because it has a standard formula of expectation of what the not necessarily contact hours, but a 6-unit course and a 12-unit course have preparation requirements, in-person requirements or online requirements, and that they all add up, plus your assignments, and they all add up to a certain amount of hours a week.
Four subjects a semester, is that what it is?
Yeah, that is 4 subjects per semester and a full-time study load. If you were to do part-time, it would roughly be about half.
I was just going to say, if you're studying full time, you could almost say, if you included like your prep, tutorial, independent study, all that sort of stuff, it would be about a 38-hour week. So as if you were working full time.
Yeah. That's what we recommend, only because it means that you've got the dedicated time. Some students may be able to process information quicker. Everyone learns differently, so it may be less. And in terms of like the structure of it, you may be able to game it in a way with your study plan so that you are on campus only 3 days a week, and then you've got that flexibility and whatnot. So that all comes down to the timetabling of it.
Does that answer your question? I'm sorry, I can't give you an exact hour number.
Yeah.
I mean, it's slightly different from if you were doing, say, a Bachelor of Arts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and every degree will change quite drastically. Some will have, workshop components. Nursing is a very hands-on program. Some are obviously more theoretical. It'll be a balance of theory and practical, but there'll be a bit of hands-on.
Yeah, and when you do your practical placements, they are full-time equivalent. So it's at 40 hours a week.
Yeah, hence the importance of that practical placement payment as well to really help support students through that process. Yeah, let's go here and then we'll work up the back. Yeah, sure. So what's the process of becoming a nurse once you finish your degree?
So once you've finished and it's been recorded that you've finished, you have to apply for registration through the Nurse and Midwifery Board or through ARPRA. From a university point of view, what we do is we send a list of student names to ARPRA of those that have actually successfully completed the program. It's up to you to apply for the registration.
So, right.
And what we do before the end of the year, we'll send you out links to through our forum, news forum, information. They have information sessions that we link you into as well.
Amazing.
As an EM, you get, so instead of 3 years, is it 2 years?
Yes.
Yeah.
So sorry, did you have?
I was just going to say, and the first 4-week semester, do I still do that?
Yeah.
Is that RPM?
So a really common pathway for people into nursing is to study at a TAFE level and do your enrolled nursing qualification, so a diploma of nursing. So that's what this question pertains to. So if someone did come in with a diploma of nursing, they were an enrolled nurse, what is the process and do they have to do placements the same way?
So if you've got a diploma of nursing, which is an enrolled nurse, but there is also a certificate for an in nursing as well, which is also an enrolled nurse. So if you've got the diploma we're talking about here, and you're registered with APRA, okay, you get a first year credit. All right. Now, when we say first year credit, if that has placement hours, you get credit for those placement hours as well. Okay. So you don't have to go do extra hours on top of.
Yep. Cool. Let's go. We'll go you first, and then we'll come back up the back.
If you're studying part-time, is there a certain time frame the degree has to be completed in?
What is the time duration for part-time students? Is there a limit to how long you can complete your degree?
So it's set by the Nursing Midwifery Board. All right. So whether you're part-time or full-time, it's a 10-year time frame. So we advocate you don't do 10 years because it makes it hard, because what you learn in your first right off may have changed, and some people may find that they do have some trouble registering at the end if they've taken too long in between.
I think there was a question up the back, and we've probably got time for maybe 2 more questions. So.
I'm just wondering if there's opportunity to study overseas, like whether it's a placement overseas, or Australia overseas.
Yeah. So the question was around student exchange, study overseas opportunities, and whether that's possible in nursing.
No. We are an accredit. We do have to apply and maintain accreditation, and it's not in our accreditation standard.
Probably time for one more. Yeah.
Which campus does
Yeah.
given, or are you going to offer it at both campuses?
Sure. Where do we teach nursing now?
Good question. City, in the city. Now, whether the exact at this stage is probably going to be down at City East, so down this end of town. We've got simulation labs, which I think if a lot of people haven't been in, over in the Centenary Building, you can have a look at them. Also there's some in Helen Mayo South, which is across the road from Frome Road. There's also some stuff up the other end of town as well. So that's in the city. We've also got Mount Gambier and Whyalla, which will be exactly the same. Is exactly the same as what happens here.
Cool. All right, we've got time for one more burning question, if there is one. I'll just check the time. Let's go over here.
In terms of the placements, would any of those be rural? So for the people who live in Adelaide and studying in Adelaide, would they be required to do a rural placement?
Yeah. So the question was about, do you have to do rural placements? Can I add on to this question?
Yes.
How many hours of placement do you have to do?
So I'll start with how many hours. It's 880 hours over the 3 years, and it's an expectation that every student will do either a rural placement if they're a metropolitan student, or a metropolitan placement if they're a rural student. I'm getting tongue-tied there. So it is an expectation.
Okay, so following on from that then, how does the university accommodate those people if they're away for 7 weeks? What's the logistics of that?
Yeah. How do you live out rurally if you're not from a rural area in terms of accommodation and support?
It is up to the students to find their own accommodation, to manage their own accommodation. There are, as I said, the Commonwealth Prac payment is a part of supporting that as well. For metropolitan students going rurally, there are also other funding available through the Department of Rural Health, which is there, can link in there. There's also some of the rural hospitals, because they use placements as a potential resource to recruit as well. So a lot of the country hospitals actually have places where students can stay as well. All right, so there's different options. And the next one I was going to say, yeah. So that's the basic stuff, but there's also multiple scholarships that are available. All right, and this is for any student who's going on a placement. There are multiple placement scholarships. You've actually got to go onto the scholarship website and actually apply for them, but they're there.
Just because we've come to the end of time, just because we're at the end of the time of this session doesn't mean we're at the end of time for questions. There is plenty of opportunities to ask more questions. We have experts down in the Health Hub in Brookman Hall. We've got people in the Inquiries Hub in the Hub that you can ask to. Otherwise, just check out the facilities and make the most of the open day. So thank you for coming.